Can't hear you.
I said, what a beautiful way to start.
I do. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
God bless you, and God
Thank
bless
you.
all of you. And welcome to Violet Pathways. How are we doing today? Are we happy it's Friday? Hi, Wandy. Hi, Tyler. Okay, so today we're showing up. Jessica's still feeling a little sick, but she's here. And
Jessica did not do like Jessica was supposed to do. Let's be honest. Okay, and I need to stop talking about myself in third person.
what were you supposed to do?
Take better food care of myself this week, and
Mm-hmm.
I fell into auto programs of just some straight up nonsense. Like, really, seriously, when you're sick, like, why am I craving freaking grease? Why am I craving hot freaking chicken fingers? Like, there's no nutrition in that. Like, why did I eat
Maybe it's
chili
like a.
cheese dogs? What the
Could it be
hell
like
is
a
wrong with me?
subconscious like sabotaging thing?
I think so because every day I heard that I should go to the go to the store and get the fruit and
Yeah.
juice, and I'm like, haha, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then I kept, haha, not today, but tomorrow. And then so today,
we all
I
have
was.
those.
Let's be
Jessica was in an
honest.
I don't want it energy today.
This morning I was in a whole lot of I don't wanna, and it wasn't a negative like I don't wanna. It was just so. Let's talk about that real quick. The I don't wanna frequency. The I don't know frequency. It's this fog, right? It's
Mm.
this like distorted energy that you just kind of like. I just want to sit down and say I don't wanna. I just really don't wanna. And I was in that this morning. I was in a major I don't wanna. I knew what was wrong. I knew I had not been drinking my onion brew and my freaking pineapple cucumber juice and my ginger lemon cayenne pepper. That stuff burns, dude. And I was like, that burns, but it burns so good. Like when
Yeah.
I drink it this afternoon, I was like, oh, but it burns so good. So, I have to say another thing, transitioning in these frequencies and really becoming more aware. I do feel like, especially this week, I expended a lot of energy. So I should have been more on a food diet that was more for the high vibrational frequency. Instead, the food I picked was more low vibrational, and it just kind of made me sluggish throughout the week. And so, yeah, definitely, I have to say,
I
doing
think
these clearings collectively like this, I definitely need to pick my higher vibrational food. So today I had the edamame and miso soup and my pineapple ginger lemon cayenne
so. You're
concoction.
listening today.
Yeah,
You're
after
doing
I was
it
in
today.
my I don't want. And Andy said like, "Do you want me to be that friend that tells you you really should?" And I'm like, "No, not at all." Like,
You
no.
specifically said that would be very annoying.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Truth, right? So we get through these I don't want us. And really, like in this relationship that we have, right? There's some days that we just get in some resistant energy that's our own resistant energy. And if Andy were to try to come in the fog and pull me out, then I kind of still feel like this, like I only came out of the fog to appease you. And again, that's not doing something for myself, right? So
Yeah.
I kind of laughed and I was like, I'm kind of like a 2-year old and throwing a tantrum in my I don't wanna. And then I was like, screw you, Andy. Why do you
Yeah.
gotta make me see my I don't wanna? Now I gotta fix it. And so I did.
It's the frequency of once you walk through that door, you can't go back, right?
You can
And
go, no, that's not true. You can go back. You
no, right.
definitely just
But
feel
you
the
can't go back
difference.
not knowing what you know now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think on a deeper level, I think a lot of us, including myself, and they want me to speak on this, really are uprooting. Everything that's happening now is uprooting a lot of the collective solar plexus energy of the belief in yourself. Could it be possible that you feel all of this momentum and all of this abundance energetically of the new paradigm of abundance within our collaboration this week? And part of that, in a subconscious way, led you to be like, well, I want to eat junk and I want to do this because you're in some way resisting it, right? In a small way. But I would say it's the percentage, right? It's the scale.
Yeah,
It's
there
the
definitely is still something there that's kind of like
because I think the same thing.
it's unconscious,
Me too.
totally. Because doing all of this has been awesome. And then, like, hearing, like, okay, Monday we had our chit chat, right? And just bringing up all these energies around self image. Um, you guys, we want to get your. I'm going to pause on that real quick because I'm going
Yeah.
to kind of go through the comments. This is supposed to be a group conversation, and I totally took it over.
No, we
So,
both.
Ashley, let's go back up here so that way we can. Ashley's here. Hello. I don't even know those words. Hello, hello, hello. Haha, thank you. Hello, Jen. Hello, Wanda. Yes, feel better soon. I am. Thank you very much. Body needs protein. That's why I really like edamame. Like, to me, for
Hmm.
my body, edamames are just so yummy. Especially get them all in that garlic. Doesn't matter that your fingers get red for a while.
Hmm.
I had fresh green juice today and a fresh fruit smoothie on the drive home. Heck yeah. So, are you guys feeling this too? Are you feeling your body after this week of what we've been working in? Are you feeling your body craving, you know, foods that are easier for your body to process? Foods that when you eat, you actually have like some kind of energy.
Yeah.
Jen didn't want to do the adult thing today either.
But
Totally
also,
get
like,
it.
if you as your digestion off, how do you have stomach issues? Like, there are a lot of solar plexus connected things, including what we eat in digestion,
Okay,
right?
so here's this. Wanda started off for a
Yesterday, I had a
burger,
burger for breakfast.
but then she went to the green juice and the fruit smoothie. So my question would be, did you feel that body heaviness when you ate that burger? Because it's funny, my body kept craving a hamburger too, and I'm like, you do not need a hamburger. Like, don't do
Hmm.
this to yourself. Enough is enough. So I'm curious on that. Did your body crave the juices after your hamburger? No sleep and garbage eating this week too. Yeah, there's been a lot of high energies coming in from the sun this week too, you guys. So
And astrologically, then
she didn't want to get out of bed, but it was worth it. And adulting is overrated. I eat Twister lollies and Pepsi Max at 3 a.m. Hey now. Yes, rebel mode. Hey y'all. Hi
Kristen,
Kristen. Yes, yesterday morning. Yes. Okay. So like, let's get into that. So like, how was this is actually supposed to be feedback of how you received what we did this week. We kind of really want to
or
know
what
like
really what you did and what you experienced, and all of the feedback and reverberations you've gotten from the universe around you, based on the changes and the energetic work we've done, right?
yeah,
And also just have a come together and just celebrate this journey, have hold a space where we can have some really expansive, powerful, electric conversations that allow you to feel validated in your experience, so that you can understand and appreciate the journey and the value of doing this kind of work week to week, right? Because
totally.
at the end of it, we can reflect and we can be like, yo, that was freaking cool. What you went through, the synchronicity you had, whatever, it was all awesome. It's cool, right? And we want to hear all about yours.
Plus we want to know how you received it. Did the Monday conversation open up this energy for you, as we had placed the intention for it to do so. On Tuesday when we went in and did the self image clearing, did you feel lighter after that experience? Because remember, again, that clearing was everyone else's energy, it wasn't yours. Wednesday, when we went in and we were just talking about these energies, again, bringing them up, showing how to do quick clearings through them. Yesterday's soul retrieval, why do I keep calling it soul retrieval?
It was
Yesterday, the
shamanic.
shamanic journey. How was that for you? Was there one that you really liked more? Like, kind of give us feedback so we know where to pull. I'm kind of thinking about working with money
Did
next
you do
week.
other meditations?
Yeah.
You know,
Did you find yourself doing any homework this week? And homework just by being conscious of your own frequency. Let's see. We got Jen. This week has been refreshing. Even with all the stuff coming up and garbage eating, it's been refreshing. Awesome. Awesome. So, do you feel, Jen, that this week listening and participating with us, do you feel like that actually helped clear some stuff for you? Maybe not necessarily in self image, but just like the self worth, like wonky frequency that we all as collectives go through. Wandy, I love this thing at the beginning of the week. I was having a hard time. By today, it's been like, I don't care of a thing, but not, and I don't care. No, I understand. So, Wandy, I love for us all to give ourselves big hugs. So, grab a hold of yourself and hey, give yourself some love because you chose yourself this week and you're not so worried about all the energy outside of you. You realize that has nothing to do with you and there's really nothing for you to do in that. So, oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Oh, she has some more in this. I had an angel numbers popping up yesterday and today 555 and 11155. That's I see those numbers all the time myself. So awesome. And what does that mean for you? Like do you go to Google, did you buy a book? Do you just allow yourself to receive from those numbers? Kind of curious about that. Jen, the times I did watch, yes, absolutely. I didn't watch all, but it did help. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you watching whenever you did pop in. Thank you very much. Do we want more of these kind of clearings, you guys? Do we want more of these weeks? Or do you prefer more of like just Andy's readings? It is perfectly fine. Nobody's feelings are going to get hurt. We're just kind of like, woo, look at our feathers. Which ones do you like? Maybe
Yeah.
not all of them are
We
able
have,
to be
you know,
received.
we both, Jessica and I, and this is just sitting in our self worth. We both have so many gifts to offer, and the combination of us bringing our gifts together is going to be so many different cool things, and we're gonna be more clearings. That was Etana.
Itana!
There are going to be so many different ways in which we show up together, and some ways are going to really rock, and it's going to be something that you guys really appreciate, and some things you guys might be like, hey, we prefer this or we prefer that, and we're not on the pedestal frequency, so we're open to receiving because we want to be of support to you, the collective.
I was thinking about doing some untangling in lack next week,
Mm,
right? The lack frequency a lot of times is what is like the major block filter that's keeping us from our abundance frequency, right? So this week, I kind of sat in lack myself. I knew better of what to feed myself, but I chose to choose something that I knew wasn't going to be better for me because it was an old paradigm of things that I used to eat to make me feel better that really never did do that. So, we all do these things. Readings are nice, but real talk and educational talk I feel is just as important.
yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. A mixture might not be as tiring for you. Thank you very much. I like the community thing. I don't know where else to turn to trust with this new journey. Beautiful. Cool. So we'll just keep doing like we are,
Yeah.
doing the readings in the end, having this beautiful community place where we get to come in and talk. Hi,
Really?
hi, Rafi.
Yeah, he was there before.
And then next week, this weekend, I'll say it with the frequency of lack. And again, because these are collective readings, Um, and to be honest, this is the first time that I'm offering it in a collective like frequency, so that's really what I'm adjusting to. It's different when I'm one on one because I'm just in your field. So, but when I do collective, I'm in like all the people who are watching and all the people who can possibly be watching their field. So it's a lot more
Yeah.
energy.
Hmm.
So again, if I'm taking proper care of myself, then it'll be easier for me to navigate through the abundance of frequency that I'm able to move through.
And it's also endurance, you guys. When I first started doing live readings, I just kept getting ill. I kept getting tired. I kept getting drained, right? And after a while, you start to learn how to operate, how to. I was learning that I was compressing and taking in all of this energy and not letting it go, right? There's a lot of different ways in which to operate. So just know that this is something new that
Yeah.
Jessica's doing, right? So after a while, it'll be. Um,
After a
they'll
while, probably have like little programs they just go to and
yeah
click on it and listen
yeah.
to it
Well, that
themselves.
too. But I think after a while, it'll be your muscles will just be more defined.
Yeah. Again, it's still a lot of energy. It's a lot of freaking
Yeah,
energy. Like a lot.
yeah.
A lot.
Well, can I? Well, let me ask you, out of curiosity, if somebody were to rewatch that, is it quantumly like you dealt with all that energy, so it wasn't just the people there, but it was everybody who would have been watching on the replay at that one moment? Yeah.
It's not, it's everyone who will come into contact of that. So
Hmm.
Akashic record kind of thing, they pull in all that energy. Because
Yeah.
again, I'm here to help. I'm not the only conscious
So if
awareness
Violet Pathways
facilitator.
is working for 10 years, and we have all of these clearings and everything, and somebody comes 10 years later to operate within that live,
It'll be
that
just as relevant
yeah.
for them as it is for everyone that just did it on live.
Well, not only that, that energy is what you're moving through in the moment of when you're doing the clearing,
Yeah.
quantumly, right? And that's also there. I'm getting from them that this is important to understand. When we say there's no right or wrong, we also mean things are a whole lot more quantum, and the way that we see and understand the world around us is going to allow you guys some more sort of solace and lightness as you move through things, realizing like it's a quantum universe. So for people might be arguing polarizing arguments for this or against that, but at the end of the day, everybody's different. Me and Jess were talking about this recently with like pot or um, anything really, how people can
It
have.
was, what kind of drug would you recommend for someone to take to have to help them ascend through it? And I
Oh
said I
yeah,
wouldn't choose a drug. I
yeah.
would choose lepidolite. And you said, what? I said I would choose lepidolite because the stone lepidolite caught for me through. I came into this with a lot of freaking anxiety, and Samantha Red Wolf had made me this necklace that I had. It had herbs and crystals and stuff in it that just gave me like this protection feeling in my aura. And then I also got a lepidolite bracelet from her. And once I put it on, it was just this instant like ease, and it was just it made it easier to be able to deal with the energies coming around you because it stabilizes your frequency. So that's why a lot of the jewelry that I'll
Well,
make and stuff has the lepidolite, is because it brings that calming ease frequency to the human.
but we were also talking about, and this you brought that's a good point. We were talking about that too, but we were also talking about how it's so quantum that there is no right or wrong or yes or no when it comes to answers like whether or not somebody benefits from having a relationship with the substance or whatever their frequency of it. It's quantum, right? Whether or not somebody should be
Everybody's
single or
journey is
married or have
different.
children,
Yeah.
right? So this understanding of like the quantum and really starting to invite yourself into the process of allowing your mind and your brain to be wired that way will allow you freedom from getting caught up in the polarities that we've been clearing, right? Because they're all polarities, and that in between is sort of like your shield and your armor, that understanding and that allowance and ease of that in between within the quantum field, that whole spectrum of everybody's just coming from a different point of reference, and everybody has different things.
They're
um,
saying that okay, so yes, yes. Okay, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but that space can also become tricky, right?
mhm.
Cuz that space is also known the I don't know space, the
Yeah.
I don't want a space, right? So there is that frequency of not wanting to decide either way because you kind of just not really sure what's the right choice to make, right? That leaves you in this fog kind of
But
frequency.
that's different. We're not talking about a choice. We're talking about things that you don't necessarily need to have an opinion about, that you don't necessarily need to be distracted by,
Yeah, but
right?
that doesn't even come until you get through all that first stuff,
Yeah.
personally, in my opinion, because you're in the fog. It's hard to
Right.
perceive, right? That's why I feel lepidolite, and this is where we were talking
Yeah.
about it. That's why I feel lepidolite is such an amazing stone for this beginning part of the process because it gives you
Are
that,
you
like,
saying lepidolite or labradorite?
no, lepidolite,
Lepidolite.
Lepidolite, I believe it is. It's lepa though. It's pink. I have them. Um. Anyways, but the thing is when you have that stone, it creates this the ease with clarity, right? Instead of being in a comfortable like cave and just kind of hiding and waiting for the storm or something to come in and grab you and pull you a direction, which is kind
Yeah.
of like the same kind of energy we were talking about this morning, right?
Hmm.
I was in this energy of like, I just want to hide in the cave and in the fog and I don't care. I just don't want to. Now, you could have, and this is where you offered me, do you want me to do this like a friend? And I said, no, that's the old paradigm again. Right? Because that paradigm that you were trying to offer me as assistance was that let me grab you and just pull you out. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're not choosing that anymore. We're choosing this. Yeah, I think that's how you spell it.
Yeah, that seems right.
Lepidolite. We're choosing to choose it ourselves. We're not choosing it to have someone. We're not choosing to wait for someone to come and grab us.
We
You
are
know
choosing. We are choosing to trust each other's process.
exactly, and to hold. Um,
But when I'm getting at the quantum, and there's something
no,
about
that's
the
not spelled right.
when I'm talking
Anyways,
about
go
the
ahead.
quantum in the middle space, I don't know if we're quite talking about the same thing.
It's the middle space that you make in between choices.
Well, no, I'm what I'm talking about is like the understanding that you don't have to be locked in to yes or no because you understand that there's a whole quantum aspect to all things when it comes to that person. Everybody has their own quantum place of reference. So that is freeing.
But I don't feel you really get to that place until you've
Mm.
cleared off a lot of everyone else's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So the space you're talking about, yeah, it
Mhm.
totally does exist. But after you do the first clearance first, that's why that stone
Right.
helps give you that space so you can start seeing what was everyone else's that you were making and not feeling like you
That
had
makes
any
so much
choice.
sense. Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, again, I see in frequency. So it's
Yeah,
the
no, but
different
that makes so
frequencies
much
of
sense
it.
because um people we can get so critical of ourselves when we intellectually understand or know what needs to happen, but it doesn't because that all of that clearing needs to happen for you to be able to find that space, and it'll be pockets at first,
You
and then
have to come up with self awareness of what you're in.
hmm
Remember too in the beginning of the conversation today, I love it that we're friends because instead of sitting in this energy and not really knowing the right questions to ask and just kind of muggling through it, right? We get on the phone and I'm like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I am in something. And you're like, yeah. And then I just kind of feel it. And then it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm in the I don't want to. Cool. Now I know
hmm
that, right? And then you're like, well, you went out. I'm like, no, I like it. I want to stay in the I don't know about us for a while. Again, a conscious choice, right? And then that conscious choice led to, okay, now that's like being ridiculous. You know that there's so much of a better space to be in, and this isn't what you like. This isn't for you. Like, so why don't you choose the things that work for you? And I did, so I got up, I put on some music, I did the juicing that takes forever and cleaned the juicer that takes forever. But I laughed and, Leanne was trying to help me and it was a way of switching the energy. And now I have my juices, I'm drinking them, and moving forward. So I mean, that's where 90% of the stuff is though. It's in our when we're unconscious, it's that frequency of not being able to take responsibility for your
yes,
own
because
self
you're not in
frequency.
acceptance of where you are.
Listen, you don't even know really how to feel who you are. You're so
Mhm.
lost in
Or
everybody
where you
else's.
are, right? You have no acceptance of where you are in your life, the elements that make up your life and make up the manifestation of everything that keeps occurring, right? And I think like I'd like to think that there are small moments where you can feel that expansive space, right?
Hmm.
Even before, even earlier on, I'm sure you've had these moments.
Yeah, you
Like,
can feel it, but you don't know how to maintain it.
right, exactly. There
And
goes.
that's where I feel that, like, the more you can see and
Do you guys relate
understand.
to those moments? Like, do you guys have those moments, or have had those moments where it's like everything that it is that we talk about and we connect to feels realer than anything else in the world. The possibility, the spirit, the power, right? And don't judge yourself if you don't feel like you have. But
It's
those
really hard
moments,
though when you don't have someone else matching that frequency.
yeah,
So I think that's why it's been a big thing for us to get called to do what we do in the Christ conscious frequency, is because we're all pretty much surrounded by people who do not hold this frequency, right? So when you don't have someone like you, right, where I could have this conversation with and be like, "Oh snap, that's what I'm. All right, I hear you. Like, I like it. I'm not trying to run out of it, but I hear you. You know." And it starts giving me the momentum of understanding, like, okay, it's time for me to start choosing something different. You know, and that's why I think it's important for us to have this community and have these kind of conversations. So that way everyone knows, like, you're not alone. It's really hard to do this when you don't have this frequency matched with someone else. Yesterday, I even had a conversation with someone, and like I instantly felt myself, like, in the conversation needing to make excuses. And by the time I gave the third excuse, I'm like, whoa, everything all that is, first of all, I don't make excuses. And then so I had to like feel out, like, what the is happening right now? Like, all of a sudden, I'm lost in all this frustration and overwhelm. And I'm like, whoa, stop. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, you know what? I got to go. I'll talk to you later. And it was reminding me too, like, if you're a sacral energy and you can something,
mm-hmm.
right? That's a totally different conversation than an emotional, right? So if you come to me and you're like, Jessica, I want to know this right now, and and I don't really know about that, you're going to overwhelm me.
Yes,
And I'm going to be like, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Let me get back to you, because I need a couple of days to process information, especially things I am not an expert on. I need to process that information before I can give you my opinion. And if you push me to do it, you're not going to like the reaction, because you're going to get that a reaction. And so I'm trying to change it from being a reaction to being a response, right? So when I heard that I was in the reaction energy, here's the reaction excuse again, right? Because I'm sorry, excuses are reactions, right? Reaction to an energy that's trying to entangle you into it, and you're
right.
like, but this is why I shouldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't stop, and when it doesn't stop, that's when it's just like, whoa, guess what? Everything all this is, I don't need to participate in. I choose not to participate in. And I'll get back to you on another day when I can breathe and process what the heck is happening right now, because I don't even understand what just happened. Have a great day. Bye. Right? You communicated, you set up your boundaries. Because for me, like, people would do that to me all the time. They would get me in this like kind of frequency where I'm like, I gotta make a decision right now. And I'm like, but I can't. And I freak out and I go through like an overload. And then I would get loud. And then it was, don't yell at me. Well, don't freaking emotionally overwhelm me. But again, those words weren't there when that was happening. I didn't understand what was happening. And I was getting
Right.
lost in shame.
But it's the awareness that keeps coming in, and we talk about this
Breath.
feeling, that feeling, the breath, but that
Breath.
feeling getting brighter and brighter. Right. Breath is the quickest and easiest way to get there in the now moment. That's an instant gratification, yet also long term gratification.
That's what that's what gave me the space though to realize that I
Mm.
was in an
It
excuse
was a
mode
tool that was able
versus,
to
because
bridge you.
when I got to my third excuse or second excuse, I took a deep breath and was like, whoa, what the hell is happening right here? Like, no, 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 right? And I say that in my head. I give myself that head time to like recalibrate and like
So
remember.
was that an auto reinstall?
Yes, it is an auto
Mm-hmm.
reinstall. When that energy comes at you, you're ready to go because you've already been in a collective frequency of fight or flight, right? So you're either gonna fight or you're gonna run away. And for me, like, I was always like, no, I'm gonna fight for my right. I'm gonna prove or I'm gonna improve. And now when I feel myself in that frequency, I'm like, whoa, I'm amplifying someone else's ego. Everything, all of this is not even mine. I have nothing to do with this, and I'm
Yeah.
able to release it then and walk away, right?
Yeah.
And it's giving yourself these gap moments. Talk
and
about
also
gap moments,
just
and that's
learning
what you're talking about too right now is the
life is
gap moments.
yeah, life is dodgeball. The gap moments, absolutely. Life is dodgeball. And if you don't know the ball is coming and is hitting you, you don't know what's happening, you're just gonna be like a
And
dizzy mess. Yeah,
smacked right in the face,
right.
man. Like a
So
tetherball to the face.
yep.
Bah! You're like,
But
whoa!
when you understand how the game works, you understand how to dodge the balls and how to, and if a ball hits you, then you know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
don't let
but if you don't know the ball's gonna get hit and you get smacked,
yeah,
right? Then what do? Do you turn around and act in aggression, or do you like bow yourself out to try to go recalibrate and figure out a plan of what the heck just happened? You
right.
know,
And the moments we were talking about, the moments that I'm talking about that I'm channeling are the moments in your spiritual journey, in your growth, where you are validated beyond all measure. And those moments are happen. Those moments have already happened. In many ways, you're also learning how to trust and receive those moments when they come, right? And so many of you guys, in hindsight isn't always 2020, is what I'm hearing, especially when it comes to things that validate you, because it doesn't go along with the programs that are existing, so it almost gets wiped out or eaten by the other programs. You know what I mean? Or degraded, like the memory, the impact. You might have had so many powerful moments where you felt spirit with you, but um, the feeling of you deserving that unconditional love, or your lack of ability to receive unconditional love, makes it sort of feel like sand slipping through your fingers, right? But those moments are happening, and your ability to have them, and like Jessica said, to hold on to that energy, to hold on to that wave, it's coming. This is all a process, it's a journey. And luckily, it's not like a switch where all of a sudden you pass the threshold of worthiness and everything happens for you. That's not really how it works. That's an illusion. That is also a program, right? This understanding, like if I'm perfect and if I hit all of these marks, right, then everything that I want is going to come through. And that's just not the case. There's a process, there's a rhythm, there's a dance to it, there's a process, right? A tree doesn't grow overnight. A tree isn't meant to go from a seedling. And Wandy, what you're talking about, I've had some small moments like that. Those are your seeds sprouting. The small moments are those seeds sprouting, but eventually it's going to be a big,
the
strong
roots.
tree.
They're the seedlings getting their little roots. Grounding you into who you be.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful even to be witness to it. Even to be witnessed to it in people who have nothing to do with me. I could literally be watching something and be like, wow, I feel like this person has more awareness now. We feel it. You feel it. It's intrinsic. We pick up on these things like a sixth sense before we're even conscious of what they are. Sometimes we just know when someone is lighter. Hey, you have a glow about you. Or, whatever. We understand this stuff. We can see it. All of us. All of you. And sometimes you guys also get wonky because you are looking for that validation from outside of you, and it doesn't give honor to all
So
of the
let's do
growth.
a clearing right there.
Yeah.
Everywhere, and this can be a quick clearing, right? Let's all take a deep breath in. And everywhere that you need acceptance or appreciation or validation from outside of you, everything, all of that energy is. And feel that. Does that really feel like that's something that really is necessity for your life? If it is, then keep holding on to it. It's not wrong for you to hold on to it if that's what you feel you should still do. Again, all of our journeys are different. But everywhere that those frequencies are no longer serving you, you can simply say, everything, all that is, I no longer choose that. I choose to release myself from that paradigm and I choose to move forward in what my intentions for my journey are.
Yes.
And just breathe it out. Feel it. Feel that energy move and shift and come into this new space of now you're learning, like I just heard of that as like cleaning your cup, right? You hear this, and
Yes.
we haven't talked about it in a while, but if you've been watching this for a while, we talk about filling your cup, right? Because we've been doing this for a year, over a year. We've been, doing our lives, and we used to talk about filling the cup a lot. And now at this point of where the cup is in my frequency of things, right? I feel like these frequencies that we're talking about right now, these are the things that are cleaning all the muck out of the cup,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't want to put fresh water
Even
in a
but
cup
even
that has all the
when you
muck.
only keep water in a cup and you keep refilling the water, right? It still gets grimy and dirty, and you still
Yeah.
have to clean it, right? So it doesn't matter what your relationships are. Your cup is always going to need to be cleaned.
And your cup is your inner heart space, right? So, like clearing all these walls of resistance that we've put up because we've been taught to put up them. Okay, so don't think that like you're wrong that you put the walls up. I mean, life has given life, and so there
Working
were
through the
reasons.
heart walls is one of the first journeys you take when you're coming into your awareness and your spiritual ascension. That heart connection is vital,
It's where you
right?
start feeling your soul flame, your frequency of who you be.
And Wanda, you're doing you all are, but specifically, I'm hearing, Wanda, you're doing a great job of working through your heart stuff. You don't, you'll know the impact and the gravity of it at some point soon. Over a year, and I'm just finding you all now. I've
Hmm.
been friends with Andy for some time. Divine meeting, yes, we've been
Yes.
going live, not necessarily as frequently,
No.
but we went live. We had a bunch of really amazing lives though, over the year.
It's been a while.
How did you guys feel with that clearing? And that also just gives you guys allowance and knowing that you can literally just choose to do these things. Listen, everybody that we meet, Jessica and I, together and individually, that are spiritual and that work in this, all have their own channeled way of doing shit. Whether it's
There's no
clearing,
right or wrong way. It's
mm-hmm,
just what works for you in that frequency. And like I was trying to say earlier too, I'm not the only conscious awareness facilitator out there. There's a bunch of us, but we work through things differently. And it's finding which one works for you. For me, I work through lack. Work in learning your frequency. I work in learning what it means to manifest and how powerful your thoughts are, right? I teach and share, how to use crystals and oils and you know, art and pendulums and, all sorts of things. These are just things that are supposed to be shared so that way you can feel comfortable in stepping in who you be.
yeah, it's not necessarily a blueprint for y'all to follow. It's
No,
more of a, this is what it feels like in our frequency that we are authentically following within our own authentic selves, and our joy and celebration of what it means to come together with somebody who also has awareness and who also sees you and respects you, right? And for you guys to understand what it means to let your heart, your inner child, lead the way for you. You might feel like you're most intuitive when you're wearing a red bandana, or you might feel like when you do your tarot cards, you need to turn the cards back in order, the order of the cards, right? I've met some other readers who do that. It's very time consuming, but I understand it, right? Everybody has their own understanding, and your everybody's guides are different. Everybody's, this is a quantum thing. There's such a huge, expansive, we're not just who we are in these lives. We're a culmination of all of the lives we've ever lived, and so many other things, right? Our fingerprint is much more unique and detailed and defined than we can even imagine.
truth.
So therefore, you guys all have the opportunity to get to know all of the unique caverns, valleys, caves, oceans, lands, mountains that exist in your universe. It's such a glorious process. It's to learn yourself. We're learning this now. We we always tell you, we are working through a lot of this energy with you. We're not over here like, hey, look at all them going through all that. We're going through it too.
Upgrades and recalibrating and auto reinstalls that we have to be aware of,
Yeah.
you know, more aware.
Distractions,
Yep, more
self
aware we are.
sabotage, right? There's so many different things that can come into play when you're really in a good sweet spot in your journey and your growth. There's so many interesting things that can come into play, but all of them, all signs point back within. So you'll always find your way back. You know, I think my guides like to say in readings to people and to myself that you how funny of you to think that you could fight your higher selves um, flow and journey and push and power, right? Your highest self, your most powerful version of yourself, your inner strength, the part of you that has existed lifetime after lifetime has a plan too, right? What's considered a download? A download is sort of like a concept. I like to think of them as like pieces of a puzzle, right? It's like a concept that is popped in. You know, you can receive a download different ways, but usually it's claircognizantly, and it's sort of like a um, it starts somewhere. So it usually is something that starts as I'm getting this is all channeled. It starts as something like a building block, right? So it's sort of like a Lego, right? And then the Legos come together like first, but it comes as one thing. So it can come as something you hear, something you see, something you intuitively know, something you hear, something you smell, and then that sort of creates a chain of receiving that sort of helps you understand a concept. So you might all of a sudden start thinking about horses, and then all of a sudden like you're thinking about races and you're thinking about the sort of like web of business when it comes to horse races, and you're like, wait, that kind of makes sense to what I've been experiencing here. And it's like, oh, so spirit just used that analogy to help you deeply understand the frequency of something that is happening in your life.
Yep. I love your words.
It's all channeled tonight. Yeah, I was doing a reading today and I was smelling dirty diapers. I was like, oh no, this is not a fun one.
Yeah. Sometimes you can taste too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, lately I've been pulled into like a daze. Whenever I feel like I'm in that daze, I'm in a different frequency. But again, that's like at a very 2 years into this kind of thing too. And the same thing is for like human design. And the more like I do this, the more I think that I'm kind of like more entangled with that too. Is that human design? There's the 7-year deconditioning process. It takes 7 years to decondition from what we've collectively unraveled in. And I feel with conscious awareness, it's totally a part of the deconditioning process of human design. When you're able to take understand what is your frequency of a frequency going out, and then understand too like where you amplify others, I feel it really helps decipher the whole
Yeah.
deconditioning process and helps you really stand more into you. Like when I say like I feel like when I'm having that like direct conversation happen where I need to make an answer right this second kind of thing. I feel it's just an open ego. And now I'm like, whoa, like here I am amplifying this need to prove or improve when that's not even mine. I don't have this need or desire to prove or improve myself to anyone. In fact, that's why a lot of times you'll hear me say, this is my experiment. Okay. It's not, I'm not sharing this for me to like have to like prove this to you or to make you improve your life. I'm sharing this with you because it's beautiful knowledge that I have found that has assisted me in my experiment. And again, I feel that there may be something in there, some part of it that resonates with you, that you're able to turn around and manifest a life that really works for you. And that's all that I truly desire to do with this.
Yeah. You're just being a good neighbor, is what I'm hearing. And we are just saying, hey, you know, we have a good thing going here with this poker night, and we're opening it up to the neighborhood.
Yeah, but even in this thing, like being a science, like that is exactly the way I go about this is scientifically, right? I make a hypothesis, I experiment with it, and I check out the outcomes and I see if they matched up to my hypothesis or not. It's just allowing there to be more information to be observed rather than this collective frequency of you can only go here with science.
Yeah, here's the thing where science and spirituality really coincide, because you have to understand that there are industries at play when it comes to science. And I'm not trying to get too conspiracy or open up a Pandora's box or ramble, but what I will say is that there are there are forces at play when it comes to certain things that don't necessarily feel uh, secure in the marketplace with certain scientific principles being accepted, right? Whether it be the law of
I just heard about Stranger Things.
yeah,
I told you that was based off a real thing.
yeah,
And then what, like 2 days after we were talking about it, it's like all over talk now about how that really is based off of a place off out of New Jersey, I think it is.
yeah. I
And
think
that there really was like some crazy animals
oh
coming
yeah,
through the
yeah.
portals and the
Something
kids were
Mohawk.
missing. Bill Clinton even came on and apologized for the craziness. Yeah, there's a
A
whole
whole
lot of
bunch of
craziness.
orphanage kids just went
Hmm.
missing out of nowhere in the area.
So again,
Montauk. It was Montauk.
yes, so can science, there's a certain amount of science we're allowed to know, and there's a certain amount of science I believe is
But just know
outside
that
of our
science is
circle.
spirituality, and spirituality is science. Science is the manifestation of spirit. It's how things happen and the way we understand how those things happen. We're not, the spirit's not saying, the religion will tell you don't try to use science to understand it because it'll never work. Religion will tell you you're too dumb to be able to um, fathom all of this on a scientific level. So don't even bother trying to mix the two worlds.
Yeah,
And what we're saying is that that's a polarity program.
but
And
I honestly think human design is that gap.
yes,
To be honest, I truly feel like exactly what she's talking about here. Human design is that gap. Human design gives you this like scientific thing that like comes up with how you were designed by the astrology. I mean, all
yeah,
kinds of things, right? And then
to
what it's
explain how you are or who you are. But
and then you know the
what
who, what, where,
but
when,
we're
and
also
why.
talking about like existential things, like existence of not just people, but like the planet, right? And rain and condensation and earth science and all of these things, they exist within spirit. And even the idea, the notion that they don't, the idea, the notion that these are just random things, right, is it's disregarding creation, right, and everything that comes with that. And that curiosity in science is also the same kind of frequency of the curiosity within spirit and spirituality and wanting to understand things, just understanding the world around you. You just wanting to understand the physical aspect and how the spirit becomes physical, right?
Yeah.
So yes.
I want to talk to Eric and see if maybe he'll come on here. I
Yeah,
learned
that'd
my
be so
human
cool.
design stuff from Eric's ERIK' group of wonderment. And he like beautifully like goes through
Yeah.
the whole explanation of what is and well, da 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 da. He went like every day for like 200 and something days. Like it was a very beautiful process to be a part of for myself. I'm in the second year in this uh, deconditioning process. I definitely, for me personally, I feel that was, again, I come from a place on my journey where there were so many different
No, but you're
frequencies
channeling. What
that,
you're channeling is that this will be something that'll be powerful for Wandy. Because if you know that science is a beautiful way to engage your spirit in the process of ascension,
yeah.
then that's the path for you.
And then it gives you a guide of what's you, right?
Hmm.
So when you feel these energies coming in, again, like with me, when I feel this energy coming in from a center that I know is not mine, then it's like, what the heck, like
Wandy, don't worry
everything.
about it.
Yeah, no sorries. Um, Everything all that is not mine. That's what gave me that instant clearing of like, whoa. everything that's in my head right now, because I'm an open head, open najna. So the voices that are rambling around in my head right now, they're not mine. They're a
Yep.
frequency of someone else that somehow
Yep.
I agreed to get entangled into. And so now I'm going to simply choose to untangle, unwind, and release everything. All of that is because it is not mine. And I know it's like, why it can't, it is that simple. Like
It
it
is.
is.
It is.
Ask Andy.
And listen, sometimes
And
you might
believe
be in
me,
the
a
space
long
of I
time
don't
he
wanna.
didn't want to either. And I was like, but it is. And
But I think at the end, sort of what I'm getting at with that too, and what I feel is really being communicated is there are so many violet pathways. There's so many
yeah.
pathways in this ascension process. Just pick one, and
And if it doesn't work for you, you can
yep,
change your mind at any time and choose somebody different.
exactly.
And there doesn't have to be any wonky. It can just be as simple of like, oh, this really isn't flowing with me anymore. All right, I'm out. Cool. Have a great day. Good luck on your next path that you're looking for. Like,
But in the beginning, it's very much like
yeah.
it's sort of like
It's
and
like
then
a
it kind of
way up
slowly
though. It's
inclines.
like a
Yeah,
down as a way up because
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get like at the top of the mountain.
Right. So you're gonna be going through up days, down, up, down. So because you're balancing what you're doing, and they're showing me this. So it's so cool. It's sort of like the way that we're working when we work through ascension and moving through all of these distortions is we're dealing with removing the polarities from within our consciousness. So therefore,
Or
we have to
calibrating.
experience a polarity in our experience, which is why we have the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows. Right now, for Jessica and I'd say the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows come like within hours and go within hours, and rather than before, which it would be weeks at a time.
Months,
You know what I mean?
years.
Months, yeah.
And
Hmm.
then no, it feels like a roller coaster. That's why breath is so important. Remembering to breathe, remembering to have someone like this that you can reach out to, have a connection with, that can just, again, I wasn't looking for Andy to give me advice. I don't call him to give me a reading. In fact, like, I don't even remember last time he pulled cards out for me, like, to be honest.
Well, now I'll keep that in mind.
No, no, whatever. Okay, that's not what that's for. I don't want
I
him to
know,
give
I
me
know.
his viewpoint of my story. I just want him to hold space so I can figure out my own frequency.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He gives me this safe, secure space where I can
Well,
just
today when I
breathe.
was like, "Do you want me to like cheer you up and bring you like help you feel like you can do it?" And you're like, "No, no, that'd be very annoying." And then you're like, and then you're just reflecting on every like you're just reflecting on yourself, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't like this. I don't like this at all." You know what? Fine, I'm gonna do it, but not because of you, because of me. There are mornings where I want to message you both. Then I'm like, I'm up before everyone else. Message us. I'm not. Listen,
Yeah.
we
My
just
phone's off until I'm up, so it's not like I'm
yeah,
gonna be like, "Oh, you what?" No, I'm not that. I'm old, man.
yeah.
I don't
Feel
sleep with the
free. Like if
phone
you want to
under
say,
my
hey,
pillow.
good, you message me. You don't have any problem messaging me. But if you want to just say, hey, what's up? How are you? I'd be like, hey, how are you? You want to tell me,
Yeah.
hey, I had this thing happen? I'll be like, yo, so cool. I might be like, oh, I saw this thing and I thought of you, right?
And if you guys were ever like curious on what it would be like to have a session with me, to be honest, the first conversation we have is an introduction. We're just going to talk and feel each other out, see what I can help you with, see what, it is that I can assist on your journey for, and then I'll give you multiple options. I offer mentorships, I offer, one-on-ones. I'm going to start offering groups.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's many options, but again, it's not really like an a la carte thing with me. Definitely not in the beginning because we need to kind of feel things out, and see. I do have people who have completed my mentorships, and they do come in for an a la carte thing because they've been able to explore the whole journey of Jessica, and so they do know they are direct with what it is that they're desiring. Or if they don't, sometimes they just need to come in and frequency match and get back to where they were, because again, like I said, most of us are not surrounded with people that are like us, right? So just kind of want to put that on there. Oh, you can check me out at keys number 2 ease.com. I have some pendulums on there. I'm going to be working on some new labradorite necklaces. In fact, I was thinking about doing a live where channeled a design for a person. Maybe I'll do a raffle for that. Um, just kind of getting out all the different forms of art. Andy wants to draw on me. He's still far away though, so.
Yeah, when I get to her, when I get to Nevada, I want to do like channeled. Well, I was actually channeling that she was going to be doing channeled henna art on people.
And I was in, I don't wanna.
Yeah, I think it's just up your alley. We could go to
It's
festivals. We could do a team thing. We could go to festivals and just like
heck yeah,
give. Hey, you look like you're gonna need some protection over here, so we're just gonna go ahead and
heck yeah,
you know.
heck yeah. Draw things,
Yeah,
yeah.
there are truly no limits when it comes to opening up that door of consciousness and true magic. Right?
Nope.
It really does make your life magical. And that's why the expectations are out the window because we couldn't even imagine all of the cool things that could possibly happen. People have so many cool stories of the divine, of angel manifestations, of like, life saving miracles and things like that. And that's only
Totally.
going to be coming in more and more as this planet ascends. And as we ascend, we have access to more of that yumminess. I digress. Jessica's going to read a card.
No, I pulled a card because I was just kind of like curious on. I don't know. They said pull a card, so I did. And so the one that came out was money. So
Money.
yeah, what I'm taking from that is next week we're definitely going to be doing some clearings and lack.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good thing. Wandy, thank you so much for showing up this week and participating, and everyone else who did.
Yeah, Wandy.
It was really amazing. If there's anything that you guys are like tangled in, or just know you're not alone. I know at times it feels really hard. There's been a lot of commercials on TV lately. I think it's kind of, I mean, I do, but I don't. I used to use the philosophy all the time about, God with the boats. How many heard the story about like you're in the ocean, you're drowning, and a boat comes, and you're like, "Ha, no, it's cool. God save me."
Yeah.
Right? And then like the next one, "Ah, no, it's cool. God save me." And then the cruise ship, and nah, it's good. God will save me. And then he dies, and God's like, "Dude, what is going on?" He's like, "Why didn't you save me?" He's like, "I sent you 3 boats. Why did you drown?" And that's the thing that's been happening on TV lately too. They've been showing commercials where the guy's like under the weight bench, or another guy I think I saw is like hanging on a wall or something, right? So it's just really remembering that a lot of this is self blockage. A lot of this, like, we're in that I don't know space, the space that's foggy. If we start breathing, if we start breathing
Very
conscious
simple.
breathing starts moving that fog. Conscious breathing starts helping you connect into your true power that you be, and really helps you start moving that fog and getting clear with what you desire for your journey. Breath, breath, breath. My name is, I am, whichever it is, like those are some big ones to help you really connect into your frequency. Again, it's kind of hard for me to do that as a collective thing, um, because if you're sacral, you're not going to be feeling it. I'm emotional,
Yeah.
so I have to feel it, right? Sacrals are like, I am, I am, like, which one feels like your which one feels light?
And also not necessarily just breathing, but paying attention to your breathing, paying attention to when you stop breathing, when you're shallow with your breath.
Conscious
When
breathing.
Mhm.
Sometimes too, slowing it down enough to where you feel the sensation of your breath coming out of your lips. I like to do that at
Mm.
least once a week. at least once a week, mindful breathing of actually feeling the power and pressure of my breath coming out of my mouth. Again, my experiment, my thing. These are things that take this crazy emotional frequency that when it's not balanced can be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's kept my sea calm. That's what keeps me in the flow of what I desire, in my tide that is my I am frequency.
Yeah.
And Wendy, again, so happy we could assist you. See? It's so many different things you can do with breath. So many.
Were you gonna pull another card?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you're shuffling. That's why I'm asking.
I know. I'm like just
Okay, because I'm
unconsciously
I'm 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 complete.
follow your own intuitions.
Yeah.
Hard. We got that yesterday too.
Yeah.
So I'm complete too. And from once again, this is our experiment, a journey into our experiment. Take what resonates and leave the rest, no wonky in between. And from your statements, I am complete, Andy, and you are?
I am complete, and well, you're talking about what I say, which is I
Yeah.
leave you in your divine light, uh, in your divine light of the divine creator. And listen, if you're at the strip club, tip the stripper. And on that note, goodbye.